Hi, my name is Tanya Sanders, and we're continuing on through these videos with this series of learning the basic tools to teach online. And the next one is Google Groups. And this is the piece that we're going to be talking about in relation to optional communication pieces. So it could be a way that you could do a discussion board with your students. It could be a open forum discussion for your parents, you and your parents, to have them ask questions there, get them connected. But keep in mind that this may not be a tool that you decide to use just because if you're using Google Classroom, then you have a way of posting and announcing things for the students in there, and you have the invite guardian for the parent side that they'll get weekly updates on their child's progress. And then you also have the one piece of communication through Schoology, that's the message board that parents can be connected to. So there's various ways that you can communicate, and also you have Gmail, so you could use that as a communication. But I like Google Groups because of the way that it organizes the chat, the discussion that you have. So I'm going to show you some things with that. And share. Okay, so in your Google, let me move myself here. In your Google little checkerboard here, one of the options is Google Groups. And if you don't see this icon there, one, it might be lower, it might be all the way down here. Also, it might be turned off in your district. So if this is a tool that you are considering, you might want to talk to your tech person to turn that on. Also, any Google product can be brought up by its URL. It always starts with the tool name first, so like groups.google.com, and then classroom is classroom.google.com, mail.google.com, and so on. So as soon as it pops up here, you're going to possibly see my groups. And these are my groups in NWOET, and I created these for teachers to be able to ask me questions, ask things in regards to some online training problems or issues that they might have. So all you have to do to create a group after you get in here is hit create a group. Now, naming the group is important because it creates an email address associated with it. So if I want this to be summer discussion, you can see that it's changing the email and it's changing the URL for that one as well. This is where you would put a description. Sorry. Okay. And just go through each part and see what you should change. Now, this one I've experimented with before. If you just want it to be a easy way of emailing a whole group of people, you can make it just an email list. And this is kind of giving you the like admin control of your groups, because the admin can create these groups as well. In fact, you probably have some that exist in your district that'll be like just a high school, just a admin, just to 7th graders. You can have all those groups set up. You could do it in here as well. So you could have volleyball newsletter that goes out, and you could create a distributional group or an email that is common for all of them. And you can use this email also to share with a group of people if you have a Google document or something like that as well. You can email the entire group, but you also can share with that entire group. So you'd put your description in there, and then down here, like I said, the email. I like the web forum. Question and answer is going to have a question and then an answer. It's not going to be in like in a threaded atmosphere. So I always like to have the web forum selected, just because one, it's always going to create that email anyways. It's going to create the email for me, but I want also to have them discuss things. So the web forum fits that. And as I select them, the description details of what that one does is down below the box there. Group visibility. So who can see this? All members of the group, all organization members. I probably don't want that if I'm in a school district. Anyone on the web? Nope, I'm just going to do only the group members, so if they're in this group. That's important because I've had teachers set up groups before and be upset that people in their organization can see it. And that's, you know, it'll be on this side where you can see your organization's discussion groups, not just yours, but you'd be able to have access to those. View topics. So topics, after we do this, you're going to see that we can add a topic. Who can view topics? Who can post topics? And then who can join the group? Not anyone on the web, anyone in the organization, only invited users, anyone can ask, anyone in the organization can ask. I just say anyone in the organization because I usually do a process of inviting people that takes care of this as well. So a lot of the old school Google stuff, they used to put it up here in the top. And this one is true to that as well. So I'm going to just hit create. As soon as I create it, it's going to ask me if I want to invite people to it. And so I created it. I could also add a topic and start posting. I just got emailed from Google saying that I created a group. All these things are happening at the same time here, but I'm going to just hit invite people to join the group, and I'll show you how to get into that if that's not a thing that you do right away, because you don't have to do that. So all I have to do in here is add the email. There, he came up in my directory because he's part of our organization. And then it automatically puts the comma in between it. And so now I can go Judy Tucker, and I can put Adam in there. So I can pull people not only from my organization, but I can also, let's see if I have Adam's other one. Yep, and I can pull Adam in, and he is from a different organization. In fact, he has a personal Gmail. You do have to write an invitation. So you're invited. And then you could even put more of a letter in there that says, hey, you know, this is a great place for us to communicate while your children are learning online. If you have any questions or if you want to show any pictures or troubleshooting, you could break that down in here. Okay, so what I would do is I would send the invites, and it would email them directly and say you've been invited to be a part of this group. Now, like I said before, let me go back here. If I want to get back to that area, so here's summer discussion. I'm going to go my groups because this is the view you usually would see. Okay, so I'm back in my groups. All three of my groups are here. And that's normally the view that you'll see. I can manage this group and manage the members. So I'm going to go manage members. And this is where I can get back into seeing who has accepted my invitation, who I've invited, which I haven't, so you're not going to see anything in there. And then in here is that invite screen if you want to get back there. And then I can directly add these people. And then you have settings down at the bottom here, all email, send each message as it arrives, or no email, web only participation. So I like to turn on the all email and allow that people can, when I get someone posts something, I get an email, it notifies me. So it sends it right to my Gmail. And then when I click on it, I read it there, or I can click on it within the Google Groups. Outstanding invitation, these would be people who have not accepted my invitation, and I can resend that invitation. And then if people are requesting to join, they'll be sitting here for a minute before I allow them to join. You have all these other options down here. If you tell in the settings, if you say that you can't post until it's reviewed, then these would be pending messages. Settings, I can email options. What are some options on emailing things? When I email things, or when someone replies or auto replies, or, you know, so you have all these options down here. Users decide where their replies are sent. So you can change all these things to personalize it for your group users and for yourself. Identity, basically, again, just more of specifying where you're working from, who you are, you're making it unique to you. Moderating the messages, this is the one that I was saying, where you can moderate all the messages to the group, moderate messages from non-members of the group, so then you get notifications that those are in there. Yeah, and tags, you can add tags to it. The tags are good for indexing or searching, or people being able to identify something that they had posted. And then you can just keep going through all these permissions, basic permissions, posting permissions, moderation, access permission. All of these are permissions associated with this group. And these are some things that were when we created. So like the group visibility and the viewing the topics of the posting and who can join. So a lot of these were, some of the basic ones were in the initial setup of the group. So yeah, so those are posting permissions, post as the group, select groups of users, all members of the group, owners of the group, managers of the group. Users can post topics and replies from the group email address. So then you're just basically giving more availability to this group's access to other things, the email option as well. So you have 3 roles that you can be. You can be a member, a manager, or an owner. And those, I mean, you can create a different role as well. But these are the 3 defined ones within the G Suite Google groups. And never really made it as low as information here because everything I wanted was already up here, actually in the initial creation of the group. But I'm just showing you that all this stuff is in here. So the general information that we filled in when we created the group, like I said, that all was done right away. But if you needed to edit these things, those are in the settings all the way down at the bottom, and that's under the manage group option. So if I go back to this summer discussion, my groups, manage group, all of those options are on the left-hand side. And then you have the advanced. Some people have needed to delete their group, and so you do that in the advanced area. Deleting your group, right there's the button. And then if you needed to change what kind of group it is, you can reset the entire group and make it into something different than what you had expected from the beginning. So I'm going to go back to my group, and there's the testing. If I wanted to post a reply, basically I just hit the post reply, and then I type it, and I post it. The one thing I have noticed with using groups, you can attach in your post. So I can attach a file. I can edit the subject since I'm the owner of that. But the attach a file creates this weird restriction on size, and you can't put like multiple pictures in there. You could have your Google admin change that and have a bigger size of attachments in the post. But yeah, I've been trying to post some pictures to some of the discussion groups that I'm part of, and it always has this limitation that I'm going over. So basically what I've been doing is, if I want to put this, and this is not going to be a huge file, but if I want to add this, I use it as a link. So I get the shareable link. And actually it's already been copied to the clipboard down here, so I'm not going to wait on that to tell me it's good. But I'm going to go back here and I'm going to paste. And so now there's a link in there that people can click on and see that document or see that picture. If it's too big for an attachment, then you can paste the URL. Of course, put some other text in there, unlike what I just did. So yeah, other actions that you can do, you can delete the post, you can lock this topic, lock the replies, so people can't post to it anymore or reply to it. It'd just be there as basic information. So yeah, so this is the discussion board that I'm suggesting as one of the basic tools that you can use. Again, that's a Google group. It would be under your checkerboard here, or it'd be groups.google.com. And when you open it, it defaults to all your groups. And then if you need to create a group, that big old red button. And after you create it, if some of your settings were mixed up, then you can go to manage group on any of those or manage members, and you'd be able to do all that stuff on the left-hand side. So I think Google Groups is the, I mean, it's coming back to life in the light of all this remote learning and blended learning. But it used to be super popular. It used to be the only form of discussion that people could use until some of these learning management systems got a little bit bigger. Like, for instance, Schoology has a very amazing discussion board that you can use, that you can do video, you can do audio, all those kinds of things with it. So I do enjoy the built-in discussion boards, but this is a nice place to allow outside people from, like, parents or other organizations, have a private discussion within your domain. And you may have to get some of the settings fixed by your admin. So yeah, and I'm going to include my email here as well. So if you have any other questions in regards to Google Groups, more than happy to address those. So it's great hanging out with you and talking about Google Groups, and I will see you in the next lesson.